Welcome back and thank you for joining us. Well, we are joined here with Chase Jones in the Storm Team Weather Center. Now, Chase, I know a lot of people are probably going to be out at the Rams baseball game either today or tomorrow. What's the weather going to look like out there?
Just hot.
Hot?
Extremely hot.
Wear your sunblock.
As it starts to cool off, you might see an isolated rain shower pop up or two here and there. But for the most part, yeah, sunblock. Something to keep the sun off. If you hang out in the shade, sunglasses. But to answer your question, why is it so hot lately, Isabel? You see right over here in the central United States, that strong ridging is what's causing that high pressure to push in, and that's what's keeping the winds out of the south for the most part. When we look off to the west coast there, you see that low pressure system. That's what's causing a lot of that frontal system. That'll increase that severe weather as it encounters a lot of that high ridging in the area. And then when we look over to the east coast, rather, you start to see that low pressure system that's going to be sitting over the Great Lakes. You can see how that's causing this sort of dome shape or this omega blocking pattern that's going to keep those conditions pretty warm. But once that system starts to move out, you're going to see it really kind of ramp up that severe weather. You can see how the orientation slowly becomes more zonal or straight line, where it's going more west to east and less north to south. You can see this low pressure system starting to develop over here in northern parts of Texas near the Panhandle. And it's a strange formation just because of the way it looks and because it's a low pressure system that's forming because it's a thermal low. So it's something that's caused by warmer temperatures less than something coming off the coast. That low pressure system slated to move off to the east and kind of try to form something in the Gulf, while this low pressure system up to the north near Montana, North Dakota, that frontal system is what's going to be causing a lot of severe weather later on in the week. But right now, we are seeing a little bit of severe weather hanging out just over to the east of us, and we're watching those storms slowly kind of work their way west when we're talking about, hey, maybe tonight you might see an isolated rain shower or two, but for the most part, a couple high clouds that are moving in. We're keeping our eye to make sure there aren't any more severe weather warnings going to be making their way out into the area, but for the most part, maybe a rain shower or two closer to the AM/PM range, and that's the trend we're going to be seeing for the most part. Right now, conditions outside, everyone hanging out in about the 90-degree range, but they're going to be making their way out of there. Again, seeing those southerly winds, and you're going to continue to see those winds stay out of the south for the most part, sustain 10-20 miles per hour. You can see everyone in the 90 degrees and just going to be hanging on to it as those lows make their way up into the upper 60s tonight. So, well, again, southerly winds, you can see how that's kind of translating from the surface, from the upper level wind pattern. Now you're going to see how it impacts as far as those AM/PM showers. So you're going to see in the time clock right there, about Saturday, 6:30 p.m., you're going to see one. You're going to see another one on Sunday. And as it makes its way through next week, you're just going to continue to see it. And then by the end of the week, Thursday, Wednesday, when we're talking about that storm, that low pressure system making over our area, look how expansive this storm gets all the way from Colorado down through Texas. And that's going to push off to the east and potentially cause a lot more of those severe weather tornadoes we've been talking about. We'll keep our eyes peeled for next week. Tonight, again, temperatures dropping down to the upper 60s. Couple AM/PM showers. Tomorrow, when you get out there near Foster Communications, going to be seeing temperatures shoot up into the upper 90s, maybe another potential for a triple-digit day. Again, thunderstorms in the morning, again in the afternoon, once things start to cool off. So we'll get through it through the rest of the weekend. We're going to see those temperatures touch up in the 90s, lows down into the 60s. We make our way into Monday, Tuesday, and the beginning of next week, going to continue to see those temperatures in the 90s and 60s with those AM/PM showers. And then we get started into Wednesday, Thursday, when we start seeing the severe weather. Temperatures drop down to the 80s as things start to cool off, and those lows are going to stay into the 60s. Stay tuned. We'll have more news coming up after the break. You're watching KSAN News at 6.